Hey guys, just thought before I do this unboxing video it would be cool to show you where I'm currently standing and recording, and that's my car right in the middle. I'm in the city of Örnsköldsvik in northern Sweden, parked right at the harbor. And I currently have a contract up here, so I'm working at the hospital in the city, which is further up that hill. Alright, let's get to it, guys. Hey guys, and welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel, and time to do another unboxing. I hope you enjoy the view outside. Now it's time to instead take a look at the inside of Halls of Hegra. So just one side note, yeah, there is some glaring issues here. I really can't fix it because it is limited, the space and options in the RV. But I do hope that you enjoy the audio a little better in this video than previous videos, because I have actually invested and bought myself a wireless Rode microphone. So I got the Wireless Go number 2, and thank you Stuka Joe for the recommendation. I think they work very good, so it's so much simpler to record without any cords, especially when you're in a cramped space like this. Anyway, that's enough of me babbling about. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at this game, and we'll start by taking off the plastic wrapper. Really beautiful graphic on the box. And the sides, it just says Halls of Hegra, and we see a plane, a German plane, I'm assuming. Halls of Hegra, on the box, because it's a one-play game, 14 and up in ages, and 17 to 90 minutes. And we see some examples of the components here, and I'm actually going to take this now. I bought myself a new microphone. I should read all of this for you. So excuse my Swedish accent. From an abandoned mountain fortress, you command a group of Norwegian volunteers fighting numerically superior German forces in the early days of World War II. Halls of Hegra is a solo-only game where you play as the commander during the siege, which is divided into 3 stages. The mechanism you will use are worker placement, bag building, and area control tower defense. And that's kind of interesting because I have been reading the rules extensively, so waiting for this to arrive. And I have to say, the game kind of reminds me of a mix between Pavlov's House and Maquis, the worker placement World War II solitaire game. So, okay, first off, we have some bags here. We have our recruitment bag. And then we have our hit bag, and we have our patrol bags. So there's a total of 3 bags. And we have our rules. And we're gonna go ahead and take, as usual with my unboxing videos, first of all I just show you all of the components, and then we'll go into greater detail. And here we have some of our counters, or possibly all of our counters. And this is one thing that I really liked, how the board is kind of expanding. I don't know if you played board games as a kid. If you were born in the 80s, there was this Key to the Kingdom, which was kind of revolutionary, because once you got to a specific stage, you would flip the whole board and it would expand and become something completely else. Kind of reminds me of that. I think it's a really fun idea. So here we have, I think this is for our first part of the game, which is the mobilization phase, and then we have our attack phase, and then I think you actually remove it in the 3rd phase, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong. We're gonna see, because I am definitely gonna do a playthrough of this. And then we have some more, I guess you would call them big counters, and markers, and more wooden markers. And here we have the Germans. Oof. Oh, cool. Okay, that's cool. We got some dice, and they're small, which I appreciate, because when I'm playing in the RV, I got a small dice tower. And we have a bunch of cards. And our map. And it's a boarded map, mounted map. And I might not get all of it at this time. It's kind of big. And if I lay it on the side like this, you're gonna have to tilt your head. Or we might just do like this and I'll go from up to down. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge, I can tell. I thought it would be a little bit smaller, the board, that is. So this is gonna be a challenge to record, but I'm sure I will find some way to do it properly. Anyway, so here we have the surrounding areas of the fortress. The fortress is right here. Fun fact, I'm just about, well, about a 5-hour car ride from that actual fortress. That fortress was built in the beginning of the 1900s, actually after the Norwegian and Swedish Union split, and they kind of anticipated there might be a war with Sweden, so they built that fortress. And yep, here we have somewhere we place some of our tiles or enemy air attack counters. And here is where the battle is going to take place. This is where the wall we're going to defend, or the walls, and here we will have the approaching Germans. And here is going to be our, we're going to be able to do a lot of stuff. Also, very similar to USS Laffey, the ship that wouldn't die. Kind of similar to that game in some sense, although this is, I would say this is more complex. And then we have our infirmary and our morale tracks and so on. Okay, so the counters, or the meeples for the Germans, they look like this. And I really love the art, but I think I would much more have preferred traditional counters, like the ones you see in, the Valorous Defense, or whatever it's called, by David Thompson. The counters there work great, they're beautiful, and I'm not a big fan of meeples, but it's not a big thing. I really like the graphical design. The cards are, as you can see, beautiful, but the meeples and these wooden counters, I would have preferred just normal cardboard counters. Here we have different classes, so this is going to be soldiers, recruits, and medics. Sorry, that's an officer, there's a medic, and I think I said hunters. If not, those are hunters. And like you said, a standard D6. And here are some more counters. These are German artillery. Can't remember what the red ones were for. I think the yellow ones are supplies, and the red ones, I think it's to keep track of something. It was a few days now since I read the rules, or a few weeks even. And here we have, so these are our snow tiles. We're gonna be digging through the snow to find equipment and dig out things like water, new supplies, dig out the radio, the map room, because they're all covered in snow. Then we have this, which will be part of the board. This is during the mobilization phase. So we're going to have negotiate and open new supply route, which is going to be options for our worker placement, which is going to be unique for that phase. And then we have that. And yeah, on the back side, let's take a look. So here we have where the Germans will be charging us. And here we see our hit ranges. So obviously we're going to want to use officers or soldiers, preferably. And we also have a kind of sequence of play, or at least at the beginning, you resolve that. And then here we have all of the game counters. So this is going to be placed on our equipment. These are, you resolve hits by drawing these hit counters. And it could be the gun, it could be a miss. You're going to add these with different kind of options. And here are supplies and air attacks and artillery and so on. So one really cool thing that I like with this, and I say it often when I review solo games, which is the only games that I review, but what I say is, what I really appreciate when you make a solo game is that you should make it with a few difficulty levels. And that's just what these guys have done, or what Petter has done. So these, I believe it's these counters, the retreat counters there, and coup counters. You get these 2 counters because they help you to adjust the difficulty level. So basically there's 5 difficulty levels that you can use with these. If you read the rules, you will figure out how to use them. And you know, basically very easy, normal, hard, and very hard. And I think there might even be a 6th way to make the game even harder. So that's brilliant, because it really gives you, if you start at the easiest point and work yourself up, gives you a great feeling of achievement and also makes the game really addictive. Patrol bag, hit bag, recruit bag, you saw those already. And I mean, I think, of course, it takes a lot more time to balance the game out and play test it when you add difficulty levels, but it's so worth it because it really gives the game a lot more, at least for me, longevity and replayability. Okay, I got that open without using my knife. That's good. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of these cards. And we have high morale cards. They all have the same back. And then we have the low morale cards. And more high morale here. Mission cards. So that's an extra game mode which you don't have to use. Last stand. Oh yeah, these are the siege cards. So it goes all the way from mobilization to first attack, to siege 2, and finally to the last stand. So let's go ahead and take a look at our missions. And these are, you don't have to use them, they're an optional rule. So here, for example, you have no soldier on the board, no German soldier. And if you do it in turn 5 to 6, you get, I think that's a supply point. And if you fail it, you get -3, I think that supplies as well. And yeah, if you do it in turn 7 to 8, you get, oh, that's a supply point, that's a morale. Sorry, that's a morale. So yeah, you get in 5 to 6, you get 1 morale. In 11, you lose 3 morale points. And 7 to 8, you get a supply point. So I think these missions are kind of fun to play around with. Obviously, I haven't played it, but it seems like fun. Can I get my camera to focus? Yeah, so those are the 4 missions available. And then we have our low morale cards, and these are going to be cards that you don't want to draw, obviously. And I mean, it's not much to look at, to be honest. I'll just show all of these because I know myself that sometimes I use unboxing videos to make sure that I'm not missing a component if I bought a game, because you know, even if it's not used, pre-used that is, even if it comes straight from the factory, it's quite often something is missing. I've discovered when I buy a new game, maybe every 10th game or so has some missing component, and sometimes there's extra components as well. I mean, it's usually people that are filling up the box, so it's normal. And that's our low morale cards, and then we have our high morale cards. Despair. Okay, it seems like all of them are the same. You may injure 1 defender to remove this card from the game. You must choose this card when you draw. Okay, so these. Okay, they are high morale. Okay, they're all high. Okay. Okay, so some high morale cards aren't good. That's odd. Anyway, let's keep looking at them. So these seem better. And again, I've read the rules. I haven't played it, so don't listen too much to my nonsense, because there might be something in the rules that you should remove these, whatever. I don't know, because I haven't read the rules for some time. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our mobilization cards first. So they look like that on the back. And these cards are beautiful because they have all these art on them. So these are going to be the main card deck that we're going to draw from. So it's really nice to see the really beautiful art on them. That guy looks so Norwegian, I swear. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks handsome fella. But you know, Swedes and Norwegians do like to make fun of each other. We're like, you know, siblings. Okay, and then we have our first attack cards. Yeah, some of these are bad. You lose 2 morale, add 2 German patrols, add 2 despair cards to the high morale. Oh, so those are that's why those aren't good. Okay, I got it. So you add them from events. In your 2 defenders. Yeah, I haven't read any of these cards. I've only read the rules. So usually when I learn a game, what I like to do is I read all of the rules, then I study all of the components. I read and learn from all the cards so I know what to expect, what might come up, and you know, stuff like that. It's a good way to learn a game. And then we have Siege number 1. And that's our infamous card. You have to take a German soldier, which will take one of your valuable spots in the infirmary. Really cool idea. And this is the weather. It's going to be snowing some days there's going to be sun. Snow isn't going to be good because it's going to limit your how much you can move your troops around. Okay, these are advanced cards, and I think also the advanced cards are a game option. Like you don't have to use it right off the bat if you don't want to. You never have to use them. I think it's added later. So I think there's this is how Siege number 2 looks on the back. I think there has been put very great detail into making this game more complex for people who likes to play longer and more complex games, and also to add replayability. Because if you really love a game, like, you know, for example, how I love Pavlov's House. So how I would do first, I would play from the easiest game mode until I've won the like hardest game mode. And then I'll add, you know, the extra models, like in this game then missions and advanced event cards. And then finally now we're at the last stand. Ooh, draw 3 tiles from the hit bag. Injure 2 defenders or move surrender 1 level up. It's only 3 of these, okay. Last stand, move the, I don't know what that is, 2 levels down. I think that's the, it's on the map, I can't remember it. But guys, if you're, that's the components. If you're curious about it, stay tuned to the channel, because I am definitely going to be playing this game on the channel. And then we have our rules. It's a beautiful rule book, and it's nice to finally have it in my hand. I printed it out actually on A4 paper because the PDF file was so big, so it kind of took time to load. But this is way nicer. Full color, a lot of pictures explaining. I did enjoy the rule book. I've already read it, like I mentioned multiple times. We have some tips on what to think about. More tips, well laid out. A lot of photos showing us. I like that. So there's not too many rules. It's, you know, about 30 pages of rules, and within those 30 pages we have, you know, and that's just for our standard rules. It's 25 pages, and that's counting all of this. So if we remove the components and just look at the setup and the ordinary game rules, it's 22 pages, and that's 22 pages with tips and pictures. So it's not a lot of rules at all. Then we have our other rules. We have the mission cards, which I showed and mentioned, and then we have the adjust difficulty setting, so you can make it easier by those extra counters or tiles, whatever you call them. So you put the coup tile on day 4 and the retreat tile on day 7. If you want it even easier, you can move both of them one step further to the right. So basically there's 2 easy settings. And in hard, you do the same, but instead you put the coup tile on day 2 and the retreat tile on day 5. And if you want it even more challenging, you can move both of them one step further to the left. So that means the coup tile will be all on day 1. If you truly want to have a challenge, you start the game with the supply cube on 3. So that's the last and hardest. So basically there's 3 hard settings, there is 2 easy, and then there is 1 normal. So we're actually looking at 6 difficulty levels. I'm really happy about that. I am sure I'm gonna get addicted to this game. And yes, you have the mission cards, and then you have the advanced event cards. So that's also really cool. So you could start playing on the easiest with just no other game modes, but then if you wanna make the game more living, add the mission cards and the advanced event cards. And then we have some really nice historical background with, again, beautiful art. Yeah, it even says here about Sweden. Between 1814 and 1905, Norway was in union with Sweden. However, the union was not wanted at all by the Norwegians, and towards its ending there was a great fear of a war between the two. In 1905, the terms of dissolution of the union were discussed, and it resulted in a neutral zone being made between Norway and Sweden. But the fear of war was still present, and new fortifications were built west of the neutral zone in 1906. So that's pretty cool. So we have 4 pages of historical background, and then on the back side we have our player aid. And that, my friends, is a lot of 22 minutes of me babbling, sorry. And here's the beautiful cover of Halls of Hegra, and yep, it all fits neatly into the box. Guys, thank you so much for watching as usual. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, you don't want to miss out on me playing this. Guys, I will see you around. Take care.